Hi, I am Jasania. This is Body Positivity. So I just want to share a recent experience that I had. A few weeks ago, I was pregnant and something was wrong with the pregnancy. There was a complication and I had to have emergency surgery to remove the baby. So after that, I was just basically really grateful and happy to be alive, excited, going about life, very tenaciously and full of zeal. All right, I didn't necessarily acknowledge the loss or any sadness related to the loss until about 2 weeks after the whole event. And the trigger for me was going to the clinic because I'd had surgery and they had given me a cut. And so when I go to the clinic, I usually sit on the bench with baby mothers who had C-section and they have their little cute baby daughters because all of them coincidentally had daughters. When I was pregnant, I was sort of hoping that it was a girl because I only have one daughter and I have several sons. So there I am sitting down looking at the little baby saying, wow, your baby's so beautiful. Wow. And admiring the babies and talking with the mothers. So one day I disclosed at the clinic that it was a pregnancy loss because I thought that was my final day. I was going to be discharged. I'm done with clinic. The cut is healing well. Only to be hit with the news that, hey, there's still an open wound and you have to come back. I didn't want to go back. I was so disturbed. I'm like, oh, am I going to face all those mothers with their babies? I don't want to go back to clinic, honey. I don't want to go back to clinic. But I had to go back. And when I went back, saw the pretty babies again, came home. All of a sudden, the sadness hit me like a ton of bricks. And I couldn't do anything that day. I couldn't do any research or so. I cried, 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 cried. And so I had to depend on my resources, my coping resources. At that time, it was basically just drawing I had in my kitty. And I used that and expressed how I felt, cried, listened to music, and then went to sleep. Because the beauty about sleep is that memories are consolidated in sleep, and during the rapid eye movement stage of sleep, sometimes you get a release from distressing feelings while you're asleep. So, just using my coping resources and getting some rest. I also have other coping resources, spiritual ones, prayer, worship, study of the Word of God, looking at scriptures that talk about what I'm going through, trying to connect with God. Those are very powerful. But yesterday, I just basically did some drawing and I found that that was helpful. So grief is like that. You're okay, you're fine, you're up and about, and then there's a trigger somewhere, a flood of grief, a gush of grief, and sad emotions hit you and overwhelm you. So it's always good to have a kitty of coping resources and a few resource persons, social support that you can talk to and call upon at any time. Your coping resources can be psychosocial, physical, or spiritual. Many of my physical coping resources are down because having surgery, I can't exercise, I can't dance and do some of the things that I like to do. So whatever, just have a lot of coping resources so that if some are not accessible or some people that you usually reach out to are inaccessible at a particular time, you have something you can draw on to help you deal with the distressing symptoms and recover. So that's my few words to you, bereaved parents. Be strong, be of good courage. Know that God is near to the brokenhearted at all times. He saves those who are crushed in spirit. You're brokenhearted, He's near to you. Be blessed.